Hey guys, we're going back to the battle on planet Endor. Bikers got reports. Ewok revolt. All troops report to base. Glider tech, hit the dirt. Our furry friends are great allies, Leia.
Accessories and action figures all sold separately.
Man the catapult, wicked fire. The bunkers hit bad. Let's blow the force shield. We did it. The Empire's finished this time.
Speeder bike, Ewok combat glider, assault catapult, and action figures sold separately. Only from Kenner's Star Wars Return of the Jedi collection.
Okay. Not what I was expecting. This is more for Endor, obviously. So you see, the speeder bike, there's something glider, and there's the Ewok catapult. Obviously more things that were used during the movie when it came to the whole entire battle that occurred on there, which is kind of cool. Nice setup, and you have a lot more going on, obviously, here. So there's definitely a good amount of... there's a lot of stuff going on, so it looks pretty good. There's a lot, and that definitely adds another element. If you can actually get that whole entire setup with the buildings and all that, you add more elements. Or even if you manage to actually get lucky and you shoot a stormtrooper with a catapult, hey, not to say anything, but doesn't look too bad. Not really. It looks pretty nice. Just saying. Alright. Yeah. There's definitely some good stuff going on there with each of those. And the speeder bike we've already heard all about, which is why they really didn't focus on it as much. They focused on the other things, even though it wasn't really clear what they were trying to advertise from the commercial. I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be advertising a playset or if it was supposed to be advertising all those other things. What was going on there. But it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense that they were advertising more. I wouldn't necessarily refer to those other things, the speeder bike, yes, is a vehicle, but the other things, I'm not really sure what you would consider those. Because I wouldn't consider them a place, and I wouldn't consider them a vehicle. Contraptions, I guess? It's probably about right. Maybe the glider would be a vehicle. Yeah. But the catapult, more like a contraption. Yeah. So, let's keep going.
Come on, Croonface. The fate of the fleet depends on us. Rebel ship on radar. I'm going to destroy him.
Ships and action figures sold separately. Batteries not included.
Target at 40 degrees. Death Star, get ahead. The shield's still up. Locking lasers. Empire ambush. I'm going for solar panels. Using power. I'll need the force. Keep the fleet on alert. The Empire's in retreat.
Millennium Falcon and New TIE Interceptor each sold separately. Only from Kenner's Star Wars Return of the Jedi collection.
So that was a commercial for the Millennium Falcon and the Imperial Interceptor, which is actually pretty interesting because it's like the solar panels are much larger than your typical TIE fighters, and they're long and they look sharp. It's pretty cool looking. Those are really big, and both of those look huge for some reason. The Millennium Falcon normally is huge, but the Interceptor looks gigantic in comparison to the normal TIE fighter, which a TIE fighter is still pretty big. So it's pretty nice. Yeah, it's nice stuff. Really good. Yeah, I actually really do think that that the Interceptor looks really awesome, and it's really nice to see that they added another variation other than just having another TIE fighter and in there, because typically it's just a TIE fighter that we typically see, yeah, an Imperial Destroyer would be pretty nice, which I don't think they really have done it. Maybe they have. I forget now. I feel like we have had that. I just don't remember. But really cool, really cool. So let's keep going.
The galaxy explodes. The rebels return. You can relive it all with Kenner's Star Wars Return of the Jedi collection.
The fleet's diving in a hyperdrive. Gotta move it.
New B-Wing fighters and B-Wing pilot action figures, each sold separately. Batteries not included.
Asteroid belt, lowering wings, hold on tight. Death Star laser cannon. Check. Gyro cockpit stable. Now for some evasive action. We're home free.
New B-Wing fighter and B-Wing pilot action figures, each sold separately from Kenner's Star Wars Return of the Jedi collection.
So one thing I will say it's pretty important to note is that the fifth movie, as you may remember, had a lot more, and George Lucas has even said this before, that he really, after the fourth movie, he had a bunch of different monsters and creatures and all that. And in the fifth movie, he really wanted to emphasize that, so he added a lot more monsters. In this case, it seems like, okay, well, we've added a lot of monsters and creatures and all that, but let's go another step and let's focus a lot more on all these vehicles. So, like, as you see here, this is for the B fighter and the B pilot. It's pretty cool. You know, you're adding more vehicles. I mean, you got the B fighter, you got the Y wing, you got all these, you got the X wing, you got all these different vehicles and all that. I mean, there's a lot of vehicles here, and typically Star Wars definitely has vehicles, but it seems like there's definitely a huge emphasis here, and there's less of an emphasis on the figures than there was in the past, but there definitely still is an emphasis. I'm just noting it just because it does seem to be a commonality, at least from these commercials, that I was able to find pretty easily. So, yeah. Interesting stuff, though. I really do like it, and also the B fighter is actually a very cool looking design. You know, it has that the canopy is very unique, and it has the balancing act and all that, and the wings kind of fold, and it kind of reminds me of what do you call it? Slave One, which is Boba Fett's ship in a way, but obviously different, but still. It has that general idea of it being something that it doesn't look conventionally like something that you would see as a ship, but it works. Even though it looks kind of odd, it makes some sense, even if it looks kind of unusual. And in theory, it looks like something you would never ride. And, like, how would you get up there? Like, it looks... That's my question, is that the canopy is so high up that it's like, how would are you gonna extend like a 50-foot ladder up in like real life? I mean, I'm just saying, because it just sort of seems so inconvenient for that purpose, that it's like where you're entering from is so high up, and yet like everything else is below you. So it sort of seems like it should be reversed or something. You know what I mean? I mean, that's at least what I'm seeing from it. But at the same time, I kind of get it. It's just kind of weird in my opinion, but it's fine. So let's keep going.